up, everybody? You know who it is. It is your allies behind enemy lines, Ryan and Joy, holding it down for all of our Washington football fans here in Texas, thoroughly behind Cowboys territory, enemy territory. I'm holding things down here in a wet, rainy Dallas today. Joe's holding it down in Austin. I don't know how's the weather down there.
Wet, rainy as well.
We had some tornadoes. We had some hail yesterday. It was quite the ride. But as always, find us here on YouTube by searching Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Hopefully, if you are here, you're subscribed and you have that notification bell rung. So as soon as we drop the latest and greatest heat, it comes right to your phone. Check us out anywhere you find your podcasts: Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. You can even find us on SoundCloud, all by searching Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Find us on Twitter at AlliesBEL, where you can also find a link to get your merch, your official Allies Behind Enemy Lines merch, our first t-shirt, hopefully the first of many. If you guys buy them up, we can start making more, send them out, and let everybody know who you're rocking with. And, of course, find us on Facebook, Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Today is the day we are finally here, a special Thursday episode, because it is finally here, Christmas Day for all us football fans. It is finally draft day, the first round. All the speculation is leading up to this point. It might even get a little bit worse after today. Who knows about where it's going from there. Joey, how you feeling today? I know I'm juiced.
I'm good. I'm super excited about, like you said, figure out what's going on, end this speculation season. It feels like it's been forever since the Super Bowl, and we've been talking about, what it could be, what it can be, what we need, and that all ends tonight. When we take that, we're on the clock. And we go out and grab ourselves the next Washington football team player. So I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited. And just so you know, you're saying it was hailing in Dallas. It's always hailing with the Allies, but hail to our
no, that's
Washington football team. So, yes, great day for hail. Great sign for us.
Yeah, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be rocking with our personal mock draft for the Washington football team, what we'd like to do at all 7 spots, or all 8 spots. No, it is 7 picks. First, second, 2/3, fourth, fifth, and 2 7s, whatever that equals. Maybe it's 7 or 8, something around there. So yeah, we're gonna rock with that. I don't know how you did it, but I did it more realistically. There is a wish list of things that I'd like to do at certain spots, but kind of where I see things landing is kind of where I went. I'm not sure if you did the same there, Joe.
I haven't changed mine very much since the previous one. I think that everything we've done has, obviously, I changed that Amari Rodgers instantly back when we signed Curtis Samuel. But I'm still rocking with it. I think it still looks very realistic. I did another mock draft today where pretty much a lot of the people I wanted are still in the area, so it only makes sense to kind of keep it the same. So nothing's changed as far as the players I selected, as far as things coming up or any kind of issues that player or them falling or them jumping. So I'm still pretty tight with my thought. I think it was my 3.0. It was probably my third revision of it, so I'm pretty solid on what I got.
That's good, because I am not. I have made quite a few changes, and you'll see when we get there that it's kind of what I had before is all kind of gone by the wayside and kind of gone out the window. But you know what? I feel good about it. Obviously it wasn't going to stay the same the whole way. I did have it staying the same quite a bit, but now that we've revisited a little bit, I have made those changes. So why don't we go ahead and get things started with the first pick, which is number 19. Who do you have us taking here?
I have Jeremiah Owusu Koramoah, right? Am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's perfect. That was perfect.
All right. I think that, I've seen a lot of chatter today. I don't know if you've seen it about possibly jumping up if Micah Parsons slips past 10. Which I wouldn't be opposed to. I'm not about spending to jump into the top 10, but outside the top 10, a couple spaces to get someone like Micah Parsons, who I think everyone agrees is the best linebacker in the draft. I would totally be for that. But as long as we're sticking with no trades right now, kind of what at number 19, I think Jeremiah will be there, and I think that's who we should grab.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't hate that pick at all. Both moving up to get the best defensive player in the draft, right? I mean, I think that's pretty universally understood, is that he is the best defensive player in the draft. So if you do that, I mean, 2 back-to-back years getting the best, getting the best player in the draft last year and the best defensive player, and then getting the best defensive player back-to-back years. That wouldn't be terrible. There looks like there is some good tackles that are kind of creeping up boards in the second round that you might be able to get. So,
Mm-hmm.
that I don't hate that pick at all. I went ahead and stuck with the plan number 19, and I have us taking Elijah Vera Tucker,
Mm-hmm.
guard tackle out of USC. So that's who I have us taking the tackle. Like I said, maybe play a little right tackle for us if we need to kick him inside to guard. We can do that. So a little versatility, love position versatility, and so that's where I'm riding with round number 1, pick number 19. So moving on to round 2, real quick. I'll go ahead and start off here.
Mm-hmm.
This is where I address linebacker. This is where I have us taking Jabril Cox, linebacker out of LSU. Again, adds that at the athleticism, has all the intangibles we always talk about, guys we want, guys we like. Comes from a winning program, won a national championship with LSU, and so I think that's the guy we go with at the second round pick for us, number 51, I believe.
Oh yes, I mean, I love that pick. I mean, that's why I had it in the third round. But if we need to, if things start falling that way, I wouldn't be sad if we took him in the second round either. I think that the player is outstanding. And just to backtrack a second, I don't know if you've heard this or not. The knock on Elijah Vera Tucker playing tackle. Have you heard the knock on him playing tackle?
He's a little slow.
His wingspan, his arm.
Oh, short hands. Yeah,
short hands. And then according to that, not anyone has been successful with his wingspan in recent history. So I think that's what a lot of the knock on him at tackle is, and why he might be shifting to guard. So I still am holding strong with that second tight end position. I'm going to go Pat Freiermuth out of Penn State. I think that's a solid guy, someone that can come in and start immediately. You pair that with Jock, and you have 2 instant team changers right there. So I like the tight end position right here.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that guy, and I think if that's a position that they're looking for, Freiermuth, he's so good that, I mean, if he's there, I think they'll be fortunate, and if they're able to grab him, cool. If not, you got to start looking somewhere else. But yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head with that guy as far as him soaring up draft board. So if that's where they go with that second pick, you can't hate it. You got to make sure you're solidifying a position of need right now for us, even with the performance of Logan Thomas, even though, we got to see what we have with the Sammy's Reyes fella coming in. So, if you can solidify with a top tight end in the draft, I don't think, I don't think that would be a bad choice. Why don't you go ahead and lead off here with that third round?
Well, as I did allude, that is my third pick, is that Jabril Cox, who you have in the second, who may or may not be available at that spot. If he is, and we have not taken him yet, we definitely should take him. I mean, even though taking a linebacker in the first round, I think this position is such a huge area of need that I would not shy away from taking 2 of the first 3 picks on a linebacker, because it's been a while since we've had somebody there that can do that. And I've done some research, in our past drafts for the past 20 years. And, looking at them, we've missed a lot. We missed, 8 out of our 20 picks of our first overall pick are the ones that we can consider kind of a good choice, 12 of them being bad. So our draft history,
batting average.
Yeah, we have a terrible bat. If you look at our draft classes for the last 20 years, you'd be lucky to remember any of those names. There's obviously and so this last year might have been our best draft we've had in 20 years. So, I mean, I think that if we continue to address what we need to address and don't, as I love how, what's his name on the morning show this morning, Nate Burleson put it, don't shop hungry. You don't draft hungry, and same thing. And as long as we stick to the plan and we just go after what we came to the store for, stay to that list, I think we should still take a linebacker right here and still fill that need.
So that's where I was getting stuck too, because I wouldn't mind 2 of our first 3 picks being linebackers. Like, I wouldn't mind that at all. Whoever it may be, whether it's a Baron Browning, which he looks like he's going to go in the first half of that second round. Jabril Cox, whether Jamin Davis from Kentucky, if he falls. Obviously, we know how I love Zaven Collins. It looks like he's fallen to that late first round. But I felt the same way, because I like that the Joker pick, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, at the first, at 19. But then it's like, do you want your first 2 picks being linebackers? Because that's where I feel like you would have to go. And it is a big need for us. But at the same time, you look at some teams where that's really focus on that linebacker position, and it's not a main prime position you want to focus on. Obviously, you want to focus on the offensive line, the quarterback, the cornerback positions, those are kind of the major needs of good teams of high level talent. Now it's one of those accessory positions where, like, if you have a good ass linebacker core, like, you're probably pretty good, a la the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, with Devin White and all the fellas they had, Shaq Barrett, all the different guys they had. And so, it's I don't know if it's something that you want to prioritize and go out and attack, although it is probably one of our biggest needs, or our biggest need on defense for sure. So I don't hate 2 of the 3 picks being linebackers. I just don't know if I wanted it to be the first 2 picks. So I agree with you. I agree with you there. So at pick 74, I went another wet route of taking 2 out of our first 3 picks being the same position. I went Walker Little out of Stanford, tackle. Nice, good sized guy. Pretty decent. I'm sorry. I take that back. I jumped ahead a little bit. I still have Tyson Campbell as our 74th pick, 74th overall, cornerback out of Georgia. We talked about him a couple weeks ago, and that's who I went with, is, addressing the secondary position and taking Tyson Campbell there out of Georgia.
Well, I like that. I mean, I definitely think that, cornerback is, although we did, have William Jackson sign with us, and we have Kendall Fuller there. I think that the depth there, especially when you're looking at the 3rd round, you're starting to look at some more of those depth positions of people that might be competing for a starting slot job or whatnot. And I think that's one area that I definitely would not be, I would not be sad if we put a cornerback there. And Tyson Campbell, I mean, I've seen him on the draft boards falling, into the 4th or 3rd. So I don't know what you're seeing differently than others, but hey, I mean, if the guy can ball, put him on the field.
Yeah, I was going back and forth because obviously I kind of alluded to who I wanted to pick, who I was going back and forth with Walker Little, the tackle, because there's a couple guys that have kind of jumped onto my radar as well in the secondary that I felt like maybe we could get better value for. But at the same time, it's like, hey, if you like a guy, go get him. A couple guys, both from Syracuse, Andre Sisco, safety, and then there's another one. He has a crazy name, Iafetu Owate or something like that. It's a little bit harder to pronounce. So those are 2 guys that I have kept my eye on as well, that are kind of, again, creeping up boards. Obviously, we talked about Sean Wade in quite a bit on this show, so I just went ahead and landed on Tyson Campbell. And say he's got good size, good speed. He can project to a number 2 cornerback once he develops his game a little bit more. They say he's got the speed, he's got the athleticism. Sometimes he can be a little slow getting his head around to see the ball. But I see that as a positive, because guess what he's not doing? His eyes aren't in the backfield. He's not getting deep. So, hey, you know what? I'll take it. If that's one of his knocks, is that he can't get his head around and see the ball, guess what? You don't have to get your head around to knock a ball down. If you want to get interceptions, yeah, maybe. But you're not getting beat because your eyes are in the backfield. So that's somebody that I'll take at that position. No problem. But jumping up to the 84th pick here, or excuse me, 82nd pick, Walker Little, tackle out of Stanford. That's who I have going here.
All right. I mean, I can't hate that. Again, depth. We don't know what Jerron Christian's going to bring us this year. Someone we brought in who had some injury issues. Morgan Moses, he does pretty well, but again, is he the answer there permanently? Are we solidifying that part of the line? So. Again, when you're drafting for depth, you're never going to get me upset about the picks you take there. So he's out of where? I'm sorry.
Stanford.
All right. So
I got to tell you. So go ahead.
No, I gotta tell you what.
So his 2019, he suffered a season-ending injury, so it's cut a little bit short. And so 2020, he was an opt-out. So we all know how you feel about opt-outs.
But if it's injury concerns is not a reason. I mean, that's a reason. If your reason is just because you wanted to play Xbox and do Fortnite all semester long and think that you already done enough to make it to the NFL, then that's kind of what I'm thinking about some of these other players.
And he was a highly touted left tackle prospect coming out of 2019 until that injury. So, if we can maybe find, a little diamond in the rough here, I'd love to see that.
Well, I as well have a tackle in the 4th round, so I think we're both seeing eye to eye there. And I still going Spencer Brown out of Iowa. I think another, person that can come in, either compete for a starting job over there with Jerron Christian or Morgan Moses, or just, again, be a depth position that we have for the future. And I think that when we start solidifying these parts, and it's just these position groups is what we're really talking about, is about depth. I think we have a lot of stars here, but we just need to have depth. We don't want to be an injury away from, sticking Wes Martin in there, so we want to have good depth. But I like to pick.
So going up next, we have our pick round 4, pick 124. Who you got here?
I'm still rocking Trey Sermon. I still like the running back. You know, we still have a lot of unanswered questions beyond. Again, we're talking position groups with depth. You know, we got Antonio Gibson. You know, we just cut Bryce Love, so he's out of the equation. You know, we don't have him anymore. So really, what else do we really have back there that's going to make a difference in those short yardage situations? That's really what I'm thinking about for Trey Sermon. Someone that can come in and pound the rock, you know, drain the clock at the end of the game. I don't know if Antonio Gibson really is going to fit that role. Someone that can come in the third quarter fresh. And you need 2 good running backs nowadays. And if you can pick someone up like this, who again is used to a winning program, and Ohio State has produced so many good running backs. If you think all the way back to Maurice Clarett and all those people from way back in the day, that Ohio State has a great history with running backs and guys that go out there and compete. And again, he won't have a lot of the miles on him as well. He's not having the feature role as much as a lot of these other running backs do. You see somebody like Etienne, you know, who played 4 years and whatnot. So I think that we get ourselves, again, to some more depth here, and I think Trey Sermon out of Ohio State can do it.
Yeah, if he can slip that far, I think that'd be a great snag up for us. Like you said, you know, I like what we did with J.D. McKissick, and you know, implementing him in the passing game. You know, I got to go back and look. I don't know how much Fitzpatrick likes passing to the running backs and passing it to the flats. Obviously, that game suited Alex Smith and obviously J.D. McKissick. So I'll have to go back and see, because he kind of seems like a guy that, you know, like we said,
gunslinger.
Likes to check down the field. Not too many checkdowns there. With this pick, I am going with the tight end spot. Mm-hmm. A guy I mentioned a couple weeks ago, Kenny Yeboah. That's Yeboah for his last name, Kenny Yeboah. I know you're typing it up there. Out of
Yeboah. Oah. Out of where? Ole Miss?
Ole Miss.
All right.
So he's a pass catching tight end. They said he can release off the line real quickly. He's very athletic. He extends his hands, you know, well. He doesn't try to catch the ball with his body. So you know, he's got to improve the blocking a little bit, which is fine. You know, you can teach that a little bit, but again, a guy that can maybe be a bit of a playmaker, and you know, he's got really good size, really good speed. You know, good mixture. One of those mismatches that we've been talking about at this tight end position. And you know, it's you know, that's the guy I'd like to go with. Like I said, somebody I mentioned a couple weeks ago and kind of had my eye on since then.
Oh yeah, tight ends. We definitely we must draft a tight end somewhere. I know I definitely went with one in the second round, but hey, if we don't go with one in the second round, go with one in the third, fourth, fifth, and somewhere down there. We definitely need to get another body in there to help Logan Thomas out and help this, you know, run blocking game out as well. So I definitely like the pick.
Who do you got?
I already did Trey Sermon. Remember?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, my bad. My bad.
It's all good, man.
So round 5. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I've got the luxury of having the whole board in front of me, so I can see everything.
Round 5, pick 163. Now, this is where I've become a little perplexed, because we all know who I've talked about here at this pick for quite some time.
Us both.
But a bit of a homer pick, and I think I might have come off of it a little bit. But at the same time, I still think we need to address the position, so I'm going to stick with it, and that's going to be Sam Ehlinger, quarterback out of the University of Texas.
Times two. Yeah. I mean, I was on that Mond wagon. I think he's going to get overvalued. I think I think just like I said a couple minutes ago, everyone's shopping quarterbacks hungry. We have so many starters this year. I think a lot of them are getting graded higher than they would in a not quarterback hungry year, and I think that we can get a much better talent without having to waste a higher pick. When I say better talent, but an equal or greater talent at a lower spot here with someone that's not as, highly touted as Kellen Mond. So I love it. I mean, we know what he can do, and we've seen what he can do here in UT and the type of player he is. And you put him in the quarterback room with very similar personalities of Heineke and Fitzpatrick, guys that do what it takes to get the job done and not afraid to tuck their head, take a hit, and make a first down. And I think Sam Ehlinger has every one of those characteristics. So I'd definitely take him on my team.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the guy, he fights. He's a grinder. I think he's talented enough with his arm that he can last in the NFL. I think even if he's not a starter or has this prolific career, I think he's one of those guys that you kind of see hanging around a little bit. We hate comparing schools and players, but I like him a lot to Baker Mayfield. To me, he does a lot of the same characteristics. A little more physical, but yeah, a little bit more physical. But I mean, like the fire, that fiery type leader, that someone that wants to win constantly.
You know, and I feel that he has those type of characteristics.
See, another spot that I kind of wanted to address at that pick was maybe an edge rusher for a little bit of depth, because I mean I think we might need some depth there at the edge rusher spot. But just as far as value, I don't know if there's a guy there. And if you're going to make a move at quarterback, I think it's going to be there. I don't think it's going to be at our last two picks. So that's kind of the thing there. I mean, we always know quarterbacks' value does get a little bit boosted, especially if guys start making a run and start going. So that's just kind of the thought process there for anybody that may disagree with what we're going with. So next one we got is round 6, pick number 163. Who you got here?
Round 5 is picks 163.
Round 5, pick 163. Yes.
That was Sam Ellinger. We just did that one.
Holy crap! I am all over the place here, my guy.
Are we in round 7, pick 244?
That's exactly where we are, Joey. Thanks for being a great co-host here. I appreciate it.
No problem, my friend. No problem. Oh, as my things pop up here, that's all good. So I'll start it off then. I'm going to stay with another homer pick here, something that I've been after. And, you know, as I talk a lot about the position, you know, I'm talking about the safety position. Hayden Stearns out of Texas, that's my pick. We've heard more chatter about possibly Landon Collins going and playing that sub linebacker spot. And if that's the case, we definitely are going to need more depth at that safety position. I think that, you know, secondary, again, whether it be free safety or strong safety, we need to get some more depth back there. And, you know, especially if we're addressing the cornerback earlier in the draft, I think if we hadn't addressed safety by now, we definitely need to pick someone up. And I think this guy can ball and someone that can actually make the squad from the 7th round. So we're going with the homer pick, Hayden Stearns out of Texas.
I don't hate that pick at all. I really like it. I was actually looking at maybe addressing that safety position as well here at this spot. Now, I don't know if Hayden Stearns falls that far. If he does, that'd be great. I think we definitely got to scoop him up. But somebody that I was looking at is actually from the rival college up north, and Trey Norwood, safety out of Oklahoma. You know, he's one of these I think he's a great depth safety, because he's one of these guys that kind of flies all over the place and can maybe kind of over pursue sometimes. He's a little bit smaller, but he's very similar to the safeties we have right now in Cam Curl and Jeremy Reeves, and he doesn't mind laying the wood and putting on you a little bit. So you know, what he lacks in maybe a little bit of size and recklessness, he makes up for by trying to lay the big hit on you. And again, maybe that becomes an issue. Maybe once he gets in the league, he's coached out of that a little bit. So I don't mind taking a flyer on a guy here. And, you know, somebody especially, again, I always like to bet my money on, not always, but a lot of times if in these later rounds, if you can get guys out of these bigger time schools that have seen success, that have good coaching, good development, you know, sometimes that'll translate pretty well to the NFL.
And before we go any further, though, I think everyone should know, how do you feel having your sister go to Oklahoma there?
Yeah, it's you know, it's not the greatest. My parents were trying to talk me into getting some Oklahoma gear. I said, absolutely not. You can bury my cold dead body before I do that. And she was a little upset, saying, hey, where's the support? And I said, look, I'll support you 100%, but I will not wear anything that is OU, whatever color that is.
Yeah.
Maroon, whatever it is.
Exactly. It's a poor man's burgundy. Anyway, yes. Yeah, but the safeties there, we you know, I always tend, as you know, when it comes to secondary, I like taller guys, you know, and I definitely, you know, in this league, it adds what it does, and what the reason is, it adds speed. You know, when you're taller, it automatically adds on-field speed because you have a higher reach. You can react. You know, your body's a little different. So, I mean, if he can ball, put him back there. I'm not going to say there's guys like, you know, the Honey Badger, who's, 5'9", back there playing safety, who can definitely, you know, Ed Reed wasn't the tallest guy either, one of the best safeties of all time, as well as Troy Polamalu. So I'm not saying it can't be done. But, I mean, we're talking, you know, having to cover, if you talk about the secondary, we're talking about having to cover a lot of wide receivers down in our division. You know, you're talking about the Giants, you know, the Cowboys, we already know who all they picked up. And I'm assuming the Eagles are taking Devontae Smith or someone of that regard. You know, we can only assume that much. So it's going to be very important that we make sure that we get the right people here. So safeties, they can ball. Let's get them on the field.
Absolutely. And we did that. We did a great job of that last year. So, I mean, let's keep the party rolling.
And in the 6th round, we got a start in the 6th round. Maybe we can get another one in the 7th. Let's try it.
There you go. All right. Now, second to last pick 258, round 7. Who you got here?
Second to last. I think this was our last pick. Am I on the wrong draft board?
Second to last draft pick of the, or second to last pick of the draft, I believe.
Oh, 266.
Oh, I suck. I'm so sorry.
Unless things have changed since I made this draft board, I don't remember. We did swap picks with the Miami, right? So one of these picks is probably messed up.
No, well, I mean, we're at 258. You're correct, but
okay.
It could be 266. I'm just doing it. I'm just
our last pick. We'll put it that way. Our last pick.
Our last pick. Yes, it's definitely our last pick. That I know for sure.
I'm still the position that needs to be addressed the most that wasn't addressed. And you know who I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Mr. Hopkins. And we're not talking DeAndre. Riley Patterson out of Memphis. Bring him in. Get Hopkins out of here. We need a kicker. I don't care who it is. Just somebody to come compete with Dustin Hopkins.
I'll tell you what, Joey. Times two.
Yeah. I like it. Let's will it into existence. It'll be the best pick of the draft.
It will be. It'll be a steal. The 7th round kicker, the best kicker in the draft in my opinion. This is kind of pipe dream pie in the sky, but hey, if we can make it happen, I'd be ecstatic. But let's do it. Times two. Let's roll with Riley Patterson. Like I said, who I got the pleasure of getting to watch kick in real time, set the Cotton Bowl record for longest field goal, set the Cotton Bowl record for most field goals, set the Cotton Bowl record for most points. I mean, sounds pretty good to me. So let's roll with Riley Patterson.
Yeah, well, we'll need him to continue to do that for years in that stadium.
Yeah, I know, that's right. Yep.
So we know
we already know he can do it there. Let's just keep it going, baby.
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
these are the advanced analytics that GMs and teams and scouts need to look at. This guy's more than comfortable than banging big field goals in your biggest rival's home stadium. Guess what? Bring him in. He's the guy. That's the things they need to start looking at.
And they have to. I mean, there's got to be a scout that looks at kickers. You got to have a scout that looks at kickers. And this guy is touted as probably one, if not the best kicker coming out. So I'm assuming every team's looked at him. I'm assuming that every team's looked at his Cotton Bowl games. I'm assuming that we know we play in that stadium. So it's got to be in there somewhere, right?
You would hope, and you would think. Like I said, if not, maybe we need to start banging the drum for this, for looking at some of these advanced analytics of kickers and where they kick in big time games and bowl games and stuff like that. But I love it. So we will. Are you gonna be able to tweet out that draft board?
Yeah, I can tweet that out as soon as we're done here, so you guys will see this before you see the video.
Perfect. So draft. We'll do that. We'll throw a little poll on there, see which one you like the best, see which one you like the worst. Mm-hmm. Maybe which one you agree with more and which one you agree with least. How about we put it that way, so no one's feelings are hurt.
My feelings aren't gonna get hurt, man. I mean, this is, again, we're just all speculating, so we don't know what's gonna happen. We'd love to see it. If Jock isn't taken and someone else great is taken, I'm not gonna be mad that my board wasn't followed. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be happy we got somebody great. And I think you feel the same exact way. And just a quick note, though. I heard someone talking about, because they're going over the Cowboys, because they're always, get their fair share of the media time. But that pick number 10, and, it's everyone's saying Patrick Surtain. And an interesting thing I heard from it was Kyle Brandt, who said, Patrick Surtain, those Alabama cornerbacks, name me a successful Alabama cornerback. Can you name me one?
Well, I mean, the Cowboys took Trevon Diggs last year.
And I loved how Scary Terry ran right by him, and he was
very susceptible to getting burned. Don't get me wrong, absolutely.
But you know why? A point that he made as to why is those guys are used to having Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne, and everybody else, and they have to cover for maybe 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds. In the NFL, you got cover for a lot longer than that, especially if you got Dak, other quarterbacks running around back there, and So I don't know if he's I think the name recognition is getting him pushed up a lot further and the school, obviously. But I'm hoping the Cowboys take him. I'm going to be very happy if the Cowboys take him, because I'm willing to bet on that. Hey, the captain had a good time burning your other Bama buddy. Let's go ahead and have him burn you for a while too, and Curtis Samuel could do the same.
Exactly. Yeah, we got the right Bama boys, the ones up front that are eating, not the ones that are getting burned and chasing down. Not
the ones that are eating the scraps off the hard work of our men in the what do you call it? what do you call it? The soldiers are fighting in the little pits. Trenches. There we go. Yes, our guys in the I cannot think of the word trenches, but yes, eating off our scraps from what our guys are doing in the trenches.
So let me ask you this question: all things considered, all things going the right way, what is your perfect scenario for that first pick that we have? Whether it is trading up, whether it's trading back, whether it's taking somebody at 19.
Micah Parsons.
Falling or trading up for him?
Oh, trading up for him. I mean, I know Charlie Casserly put out his final mock draft this morning, and he had him slipping all the way to us at 19.
I've seen it quite a few times. Whether I'm doing a mock draft simulator, whether I've seen people talk about it, like there's a good chance that he does slide a little bit.
And the more people start overvaluing, again, these wide receivers who are, do you really think that these, and I'm going to ask you a question, answer your question with another question. Do you really think that Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle are any better than Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, and, Jalen Reagor, CeeDee Lamb?
Yes.
You do think? That's what I'm saying. I think it's just some guys. It's just some guys that are coming out. There's a bunch of them.
If you put the top 3 wide receivers last year, Ruggs, Jeudy, CeeDee, against Jamar Chase, Waddle, Devontae Smith. I probably take Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase 1 and 2 over all those other.
I think Kyle Pitts is better than all the wide receivers this year.
Yeah, no, Kyle Pitts is the best pass catcher by far. Kyle Pitts is the best pass catcher. So you want to put him in that group? He's the best pass catcher for sure.
I think he's the only one that's worth that. I think he's the only one worth a top 10, maybe even 20 pick.
Wow, that's a hot take. That is
a hot take, and I'm going to say it, and we'll get to talk again at the end of the year. But I mean, I remember getting so. I mean, did CeeDee Lamb have this great year? Did you know?
None of them did. None of them
did. None of them did. They had a couple moments, but nothing you consider as yes, we were good. We were right for doing this.
But in their defense, Jerry Jeudy, Ruggs, or CeeDee Lamb, none of them had good quarterbacks. Especially Jerry Jeudy.
I don't even dare talk about my Drew Lock. But again though, good receivers like Terry McLaurin, don't matter who's back there. You know what I mean? Good receivers, it don't matter who's back there. And I think that, again, quarterbacks and wide receiver and playmakers is, I guess, what it is, if you can throw them all into one category, are being so overvalued this year that, players like Jock, players like, Micah Parsons, players like, I still think Caleb Farley, with his injury, are going to slip. Well, those are the guys that you're going to see 2 and 3 years from now. Man, we passed up on him. We passed up on him to draft this guy.
Look, I was having a conversation earlier. I think with one of my buddies, I think 49ers, I think 100% they need to take Kyle Pitts. Like, you're going to bank your future franchise on either Mac Jones or Justin Fields. Like, I would take what's more of the sure thing in Kyle Pitts. I know you lumped all of the playmakers in there together, but if we're talking quarterback, you're throwing darts. You're hoping you hit a bullseye. You're closing your eyes and throwing your dart at the target, hoping you hit a bullseye with Mac Jones or Justin Fields. I think if you're the 49ers, you take Kyle Pitts, you run him out there with all the other weapons you have to pair him with that running game. Maybe it's Jimmy G throwing him the ball. Maybe it's somebody else. You never know. But I think that's the safer option at that number 3 pick, because you're hoping that you're not picking number 3 again anytime soon. And if you pick one of these quarterbacks and they come out and stink, and then you're looking at Kyle Pitts 10 years down the road, he's having a Hall of Fame career, you're thinking, holy shit, we took took one of these bum quarterbacks that didn't last 3 years in the league, and we could have had this guy. You're gonna be kicking yourself in the butt for quite some time.
I mean, again, I think that Kyle Pitts is this year's Chase Young. He's the best player in the draft, but
Trevor Lawrence, I have the biggest vote for Trevor Lawrence.
Well, it's hard for all the attention he's received for so many years, and he's be able to live up to it. He's not taking a step back. We think about guys like Matt Barkley, who would probably have been a number 2 pick if he would have came out a year earlier and then just destroyed his stock the next year. But I just don't think that any team is gonna if you're gonna trade up to number 3 for a tight end. I agree. I just think that they saw something. We need a quarterback. We're not going to take the chance that he's going to fall to us at 12, which he probably might have. And I think they're going to get Mac Jones. I think that's the most known, and I don't know if you've heard or the talk about the Jimmy G. It's been ongoing trade with the Patriots, but If anything of that's true, then you definitely are going to take a quarterback, and it's definitely going to be after someone that can start right away. And I don't think Trey Lance can start right away. And I think if they think someone's going to come in and start right away, it's going to be Mac Jones. So that's.
See, I'm in the Justin Fields camp. I think Justin Fields needs to be because.
But they already said though it's already between the two.
Right. Between Mac Jones and Trey Lance?
Yeah, the 49ers have come out straight up and said Kyle Shanahan wants Mac Jones. The scouts and the administration really have it for Trey Lance. So
I think if they could go back and do it, they wouldn't have traded up as early as they did. I think if they would have waited a month or so and seen how everything played out, they would have been better suited. Because they're still going to have to trade up from where were they at 12. They're still going to have to trade up from that position to get a quarterback. But the reason I'm the biggest in the Justin Fields camp is you go back to 2012 with Bob Griffin. I mean, look at how much success that offense had because they had a mobile quarterback. They can still run the zone running scheme, and then all the weapons on top of that. That's just why I think Justin Fields might be the better selection. I don't think Trey Lance is a day one starter either. I agree. But and you don't move up number 3 to take a tight end, But I think if they could go back and do it again, maybe they don't move up that high, or B, move up as early as they did to kind of let everything play out, because then they could probably get Trey Lance, at 8, where Carolina
exactly now, or Denver now, especially with their trade. Denver and Carolina are probably way more opted to trade back a little bit, knowing that they both kind of have their quarterback plan, or as it seems. But also with that as well. If you think about the 49ers and as regards to what's his name? It's a guy, Deshaun Watson. I don't know if you saw that story that came out about the plan all along was to trade him. Yeah. Did you see that? That it was supposed to be this. No, yeah. The story came out, I think it was the day before yesterday, or sometime this week, that Houston's plan all along was to wait for this week and then have a bidding war. Where everyone's like, oh my God, he's available. And to get this huger haul that he probably would have gotten, because again, everyone's going to be in panic mode tonight. And I don't know if you've heard it as well with Atlanta, that they've gotten calls from, they say pretty much every team about that number 4 pick, and that their price is high. And they say, you know what? I guarantee you someone's going to pay it on the clock. I agree. And so it's just sad to see what happened to Deshaun Watson, because we could be right in that boat right now. I would still be in that boat for a quarterback like that, even though not knowing what's going to happen with all this. But it's just a shame that, just thinking about that, just how that would have shuffled everything else up right now. Imagine we're just having the same talk we were having, and all of a sudden, Deshaun Watson becomes available today. We know that. And we're like, that just changes this whole show. And that just changes everybody's draft board, so. That's crazy how and who knows? We might see something huge like that go down tonight.
I think we will. I think we'll see something, pretty big. Again, the same conversation I was having earlier. We talked about how this draft kind of starts at number 4. A buddy of mine says he thinks it doesn't. It starts at number 7, because he says Kyle Pitts will be gone at 4, and then some kind of combination of Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase will be 5 and 6. And he's like, so 7 is where it really starts. See, I disagree. I think Atlanta's still in play to trade that pick away. And then that'll really start the domino effect of what everything kind of happens behind that. But again, I guess we'll wait and see. I can't wait. I'm excited. I know you're excited. I'm sure we'll be texting all night about it.
Yes.
And the great thing is too, we got Thursday, first round today. We got rounds 2 and 3 Friday, and then we got it all the rest of the weekend to kind of see where this thing plays out and how things transpire. And it's come Monday, it's gonna be lit.
I'm hoping that on Monday or our next show I can come play our new victory off-season harmonica.
The draft harmonica.
Yes, awesome. The draft harmonica. I'm going to be like, yes, we did it again, because we've done great with this first pick. Even if you count the 2018, because we got Montez Sweat in the first round, not the first overall pick. But we've done great in the first round these last couple years, and I really just hope we continue that momentum. And I truly believe in this coaching staff, and I believe in these scouts and this whole team right now, that they're going to make the right decision. So I just look forward to celebrating that.
I agree for sure. Well, that'll do it for us here. As always, again, make sure you're subscribed here on YouTube. Ring that notification bell. Check us out anywhere you find your podcast: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Find us on SoundCloud, all by searching Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Find us on Twitter at AlliesBEL. Again, in our bio, you can go ahead and click a little link there to support us and buy your own Allies Behind Enemy Lines merch. Let everyone know who you're rocking with. Not only who your favorite football team is, but who your favorite football team podcast is. And that's going to be your boys right here, holding it down for you in enemy territory, your Allies Behind Enemy Lines. Check us out on Facebook, where we drop all of our YouTube videos as well. Allies Behind Enemy Lines podcast. check us out, drop a link, drop a comment wherever you're at. Again, we will tweet out our draft board, maybe a little poll to see which one you agree with the most, which one you agree with the least. Maybe give us some feedback of what you think, where you think you would have made a different move, all that fun stuff. But until next week, after this speculation season has officially finished up, well, not officially finished up, but maybe a clearer view of where it's going to go. We have tons to talk about and see where things line up. But that'll do it for us here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. You all have a great weekend. Enjoy the draft, and we'll see you on the other side.